A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A plus English. Cause it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A plus way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A plus English.
Hello everyone, welcome to A Plus English. I'm Mike.
I'm Nikki.
And we are back talking about alpacas or llamas. Llamas, I guess we say. Llama and alpaca. That's the way. Although some people might say alpaca, right? So we should warn you that there are people out there who might pronounce the word a little differently. But we know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about a four-legged South American creature. It's kind of a horse. It's kind of a camel. It's kind of a giraffe. I mean, it's got a long neck. It doesn't have a hump on its back.
You made it sound like very scary and crazy.
No, they're kind of weird, right? They're a little bit this or a little bit that.
And then they have teeth like...
And they have funny teeth, that's right, kind of like a... So the head kind of looks like a camel, but the body looks more like a horse or a donkey.
True.
But they have a long neck like a giraffe or a camel, but not as long as a giraffe, clearly. But anyways, they're South American, and we've learned that they are very, very interesting, and there are a lot of similarities, but some important differences between them. And I think the most amazing fact we learned is that alpacas,
they can't live without each other.
And they all pee in the same place.
Exactly.
They all use the same bathroom for their nyao. We didn't learn where they do their poo-poo.
Oh,
do they do the poo-poo in the same place?
Sure, why not?
Because it could get full. You can't just do it everywhere in the same place all the time. It will be there.
But they need each other, so they need each other for everything.
But they can meet each other and poo somewhere else together.
I don't know,
These are
have to
more
ask them.
science questions we have to get answers to. So today we're going to be getting answers. Not to that question, I don't think, but we're going to be looking at some of the very interesting and very real differences between alpacas and llamas. So let's get to it.
那形容某人事物变得怎么样的时候，我们常常会用 become 这个动词。那你知道还有另外一个字可以用吗？
Alpaca or llama. Don't mix them up.
Alpacas are around 90 centimeters tall at their shoulders. Their weight is about 65 kilograms. They have short, round ears and no top front teeth. They spit when they get scared. People mainly farm them for their fleece. It's soft and light and good for making clothes.
Okay, so let's get into some more facts about alpacas and llamas. It says alpacas are around 90 centimeters tall at their shoulders. All right, so that's about 30 centimeters. So about 90, but that, okay, and that's at their shoulder. This is actually a very common way to measure animals that have four legs, right? We can't measure them to the top of their head. So we often, with horses especially, we measure them to their shoulders. So that would be basically at the top of their front leg.
那羊驼的肩高大约是90公分，体重呢大概是65公斤。We don't measure their heads because they move a lot, or it's hard to measure. 那因为动物的头部高度会因为情绪或是动作变化上下移动，所以就会很难准确的测量。那所以在肩膀呢站立的时候会比较稳定，比较适合作为身高的依据。那是量4只脚的动物或是狗啊马比较常见的方式。
Okay, I'm trying to think of pictures I've seen. I think with the neck, they would be close to a grown adult's height. Be quite similar. They might be a little taller than you, a little shorter than than me or something. So yeah, they're pretty big animals, in other words, but maybe not as big as a horse or something like that. What about how heavy they are? It says their weight is about 65 kilograms.
Oh, okay. So that's quite heavy.
Yeah.
It's the size of a grown man, basically,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It makes me think they're maybe a little bit heavier than I would guess, but they got to be quite strong, right? If they're, climbing around in the mountains of South America. So there you are. They're quite heavy and quite large, really, for an animal. It says they have short, round ears, cute little ears, kind of like a koala, right? They're cute little ears, and no top front teeth.
Yeah, good.
Interesting. So the teeth on the top, they don't have them there. And then here's one fact that you definitely should remember. They spit when they get scared. So mouth water will come flying out at you.
Spit 这个动词指的就是吐口水 So you spit on somebody and one might think that they spit because they're angry, but no, it's because they're scared.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. But it's also just a good reason not to get too close to an alpaca unless you know it's friendly. Now, what do people use them for? Remember, we said there are no more wild alpacas for 6,000 years. They've been farmed. So people have been raising them as farmers raise many types of animals. Well, what do they raise alpacas for? I've never had an alpaca burger, so I'm imagining it's not meat. And I'm right. People mainly farm them for their fleece, for their fur, for their hair. It's soft and light and good for making clothes. So basically, it's the South American version of the sheep.
那 fleece 这个名词指的是羊毛，那也就是说人们饲养羊驼主要是因为了它们的羊毛，那它们的毛柔软而且重量很轻，所以很适合作为衣物。So it's the same as keeping sheep.
Yes, it is. Exactly right. Very, very similar. And I'm sure if you go to South America, you can find yourself a nice alpaca sweater or a blanket or a warm hat.
Do you have one?
A pair of mittens? No, because I've never gone to South America.
Okay, fine.
And where I come from, they have sheep. So, but if I was in South America, I would definitely get one.
那前面开头的时候我有问大家，那看到了 become 的时候呢，还有另外其他什么说法呢？Get 加上一个形容词，表示的是变得怎么样，表示说某人或者是某事的态度改变了，从一个状态变到另外一个状态。So for example, get ready 你准备好 ，get lost 迷路 ，get angry 生气了，或是 get better 好转了。所以 get 加一个形容词指的就是 become 加一个另外一个形容词，所以 become 通常是用在比较正式抽象一点的用法。那语境呢，可能是 become successful. For example, I always get sleepy after lunch. 吃完午饭之后呢，就变得很想睡。Weight 这个名词指的是重量，那某个东西的重量或者是人的体重，甚至也可以当作心理的负担。You lose weight 你减重 ，gain weight 就是增重，那 carry weight 就是承重。那这个 weight of something 指的就是某个东西的重量。So for example, she lost a lot of weight by exercising every day. 她每天靠运动减了很多的体重。那单字例句我们看到 The baby's weight is 3.6 kilograms. 这个婴儿的体重呢为 3.6 公斤。那另外还看到了 soft 这个形容词指的是柔软的，或者是表面啊，或者是质地比较不硬，触感舒服，也可能是指的是声音语气柔和。So you have soft bed, soft voice, soft skin. 那相反的 rough 这个形容词指的就是粗糙的。For example, this blanket is very soft and warm. 这个毯子很柔软，而且也很温暖。那单字例句我们看到 The hotel offers soft pillows and beds.Guests can sleep well on them at night. 那这间饭店呢，提供柔软的枕头和床铺，让客人可以一夜好眠。那再来看到 light 这个形容词指的是轻的，那重量不重，或者是指的是程度上面不强。So for example, light color, light meal 就是颜色比较淡，或者是你吃了一点点。那相反就会是 strong 或者是 heavy. So you have a light bag, light meal, or light rain 雨下的没有很大。For example, this suitcase is very light. I can carry it by myself. 这个行李箱很轻，我可以自己拿。那单字例句呢 Betty's school bag is light today because she only packed her pencil case. Betty 今天的书包很轻，因为她只带了铅笔盒。
Llamas are around 120 centimeters tall at their shoulders and about 113 kilograms.They have long, curved ears. Llamas have both top and bottom front teeth. They spit just like alpacas. They even bite when they get scared. They're strong enough to carry heavy things. In some places, people use llamas to guard groups of alpacas and sheep.
All right, let's get back to it and find out about llamas now. So now we have an idea of what alpacas are like and how big they are and all that stuff. Let's see their friends there, their cousins there. Llamas, it says, are around 120 centimeters tall at their shoulders and about 113 kilograms.
So they're bigger.
So a little bit taller, but quite a lot heavier, almost twice as heavy.
那相较羊驼、骆马的比较高呢，也比较重。
So do not get in a fight with a llama because it is much bigger than you. And it says they have long curved ears. So that's another way you can tell. Remember, the alpacas have little round ears. The llamas have long curved ears. And lots are more like a horse-shaped ear. And llamas have both top and bottom front teeth. I'm not going to get close enough to be their dentist. So I don't have to worry about that.
Their teeth.
But if you want to be a llama dentist, then you should know that they have both top and bottom front teeth like most animals do.
那骆马有着又长又弯的耳朵，它们还有上下门牙。那 curve 这个形容词指的就是弯曲的。So alpacas have round ears while llamas have curved ears and they have more teeth.
Yes, so if you have an alpaca friend, don't buy it a toothbrush for its birthday. Not very useful. And what about llamas? They spit just like alpacas. Oh, isn't that nice? And, well, actually, it gets worse. They even bite when they get scared.
They're more aggressive.
An alpaca might give you a face full of spit, but a llama will give you that face full of spit followed by a nice bite on the arm.
Okay.
I know who I want to hang around with.
So for some reason, they all spit.
Yeah.
They also chew a lot. They do like...
Oh, they got to make more spit. Where do you think the spit comes from?
Okay,
it comes from all the chewing.
Not the gum.
And I guess this makes sense. I mean, they can't punch us.
Oh,
right?
So
they can't carry a gun or anything. So that's all they have. They just spit and bite. And it says we're still talking about llamas here. They're strong enough to carry heavy things. Okay, so if you do see one in a movie or somewhere carrying things on its back, like big bags on the side, that is probably a llama. It says in some places, people use llamas to guard groups of alpacas and sheep. Oh, so they can even be used as guard animals.
So llamas could be leaders of alpacas.
Oh, do you think it's just because they're so mean?
Yeah, they're mean and bigger.
They're mean and big, so they make a good...
And they're their cousins.
A good security guard. Very interesting.
Guard 当动词的时候，指的是保卫或者是保护某人或者是某物，避免受伤、损失或是攻击。So you can guard a place， 保护一个地方 ；guard against danger， guard the entrance， 保护这个入口。那单字例句我们看到 ，The soldier's job is to guard the country and keep everyone safe。这些军人的工作呢是保卫国家，让人民安全无虞。那今天的 Magic Box， 我们来看看 enough 的用法。首先呢，它当副词的话呢，是用来当做一个形容词或者是副词加上 enough。So for example, Kate runs fast enough to catch the bus. 她跑得够快，然后才能够就是招到公车。那它另外如果当限定词的话呢，是 enough 加上一个名词。For example, I need enough time to finish my homework. 我需要足够的时间来写我的功课或是作业。
Review time!
All right, so now, thanks to Evelyn and Ethan and also all the stuff we learned today, I think most of us can feel pretty confident in being able to tell the difference between an alpaca and a llama. Yeah, exactly right. If it bites me, it's a llama. If it just spits at me and needs more teeth, it's an alpaca. So now that we've talked about two animals that are very similar but different in important ways, and we now know how to identify them, what other animals do you know people mix up because they look so similar?
When I was a kid, I always mix frogs and toads up.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right?
Frogs and toads.
青蛙跟蟾蜍.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Frogs live in water, but toads are more on the land. Is that generally a thing?
Could be.
I'm thinking frogs are kind of like they swim and toads are more like hoppy on the land. Or what are some other ways that you can tell them
I would
apart?
say frogs, they have smooth skin.
Oh, that's a good one. People used to think that the bumps on toads would give you warts. Those things on your finger. They don't, right? But yeah, the toads have those bumps, right? And frogs, smoother. I think maybe that's why I think that they're in the water, because they're shinier looking frogs, right?
When I was a kid, I always thought the frogs are cuter.
I think they probably are.
Right?
Yeah, I think
and
they
have
probably
brighter
are.
colors as well.
Oh, that's a good one. I would depend, but yeah, I mean, if the toads are living on the land, they have to hide a little bit more, whereas frogs can swim away. That's a good one. All right, so you can definitely find some differences there. What's another group?
What about squirrel and chipmunks?
Squirrels and chipmunks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't see them that often, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's that. I mean, I'm from North America where we have both of them. I can definitely tell the difference.
Okay.
Squirrels are more like, they have the big, long, bushy tail. And chipmunks often have that kind of black and white or brown and white stripe down their back, too, right? I can't really think of the differences, but I'm pretty sure I could tell. What are some other things that makes them different?
I mean, I really don't see them enough.
Okay, that's a tricky one. Do you have another one?
What about sea otter and beaver?
Again, I know that one. The beaver is the Canada animal.
True.
Beavers have that big flat tail.
Yeah.
Flappy, flappy, flap, right?
True.
And beavers have the super big teeth and they're always chewing on trees.
Okay.
Whereas otters are cute and they have little hands.
Oh, they hold hands.
And they hold hands and they swim in the ocean where you can have river otters, but you'll never have an ocean beaver.
Okay.
Beavers are only on the land.
You're the professional.
Well, those are ones that I'm a little more familiar with, but I'm sure there's many others that I would be confused by too. How about you guys? Are there some animals out there that you've always been like, and you can't tell the difference? Chat about that and maybe do your own research. Educate yourselves, people, because you never know when you'll be up against a spitting llama or maybe an alpaca.
Yeah,
you want to know who spits at you, right? So find out.
那今天的节目就到这边啦，想跟真人老师1对1线上讨论吗？欢迎加入空中家教。
I also get confused between The Rock and Jason Momoa.